Stepping into the Smart Love studio, my next guest, Diiago Prada.
Shoot my money gang shit. Yeah. Hold up, look. My bitch bad like Michael. I be in the head like micro. Water diamonds on me, that's a light show. Party going broke, that's a typo. I be doing numbers, that's a fight stone. None of my niggas ain't like yo. Follow why them niggas don't like yo. I spin a nigga block, go psycho. Step.
Welcome to a special edition of Smart Love. And I've said this once before, every edition is special to me because every time I get to sit next to the next rising superstar and I get to say, hey, I knew them when I had them on Smart Love, like it's special to me. So I got Diiago Prada in the building.
What's going on,
what
world?
What
it do?
Hey, I'm so glad to have you.
Yeah, we told him it was coming.
Hey, he's a man of his word.
I don't know if they were paying attention. We told him it was coming.
We did. Yep. The P. Brown's event. Yep. I caught him. He came over to the booth. And I was like, I want you on the show. Now, there's a lot of people at that event that said they was coming on the show. Yeah. You the first one.
Shout out to P. Brown. 20 years in the game is major.
That's dope.
For anybody to be a great resource to people for that long.
Right.
And get the flowers she got. So, major shout out to her. And she's still going. She's still
well deserved.
Yeah, facts.
Yes, so. Yeah. And she's bringing people together. And so the whole purpose of that event, right, was like to get people from behind the computer in person, networking, working together, especially in this digital world that we're in today. Like we can get so caught up in what we're doing online, we don't do enough face to face. Right.
That's how it was when I came in. It was, you had to build relationships and you had to, know people. Mm-hmm. It wasn't social media, it didn't really exist. So, if you weren't really in them rooms and knowing people in real life,
then it's
a different form of networking.
Right, exactly. Like your albums wasn't getting sold, and people didn't know who you were. Like, how would they if you weren't out here meeting the people? So,
I did it. I don't went to Walmart and got them blank CDs and wrote on them and went to the gas station, passed them out for $1 donation. I done been in there. I started in that era, so. Screaming wasn't a thing, You got to trap out the trunk is what they called it.
I love that. I love that. So, we're going to start from the beginning. So, first of all, are you like real Atlanta? Are you like old Atlanta?
No,
like you really Atlanta? Like you really from Atlanta?
Every side of town.
Every side of town.
Except for the north side. I don't think I ever lived on the north side. I did a lot of business on the north, but I ain't never resided on the north side. But I'm from every side of town, and I don't live on every side. I went to 5 different elementary schools until I graduated 5th grade, and then I was kind of pretty much settled with my grandma. Okay.
Everybody kind of lived with their grandma at one point. At least our generation. Yeah. This next generation, grandmas ain't keeping them kids like that.
I'm on the same age as the kids. It's different, we traditional. So, me and my mom, we moved around, lived with a lot of family friends. Unfortunately, that was my circumstance, but through and through, I can say every. I'm real Atlanta though.
You real Atlanta. Facts. So where'd you go to high school?
I went to South Atlanta High School. So,
okay.
Like I said, I was pretty much settled with my grandma. I didn't move after elementary. I went to Crawford Long Middle, C.W. Long, and then I went to South Atlanta High School.
Okay. Yeah. So when you were coming up, and I'm not going to try to guess your age. I'm not going to ask you your age either.
It depends on, if I got a haircut by age. Hey, watch out.
I'm just going to assume we're around the same age. And I don't know, people don't know how old I am. Yes. Okay.
I'm going to say we are. Okay. I'm going to guess too. I'm going to say we are. I don't know the age.
Yeah.
I don't know the age.
Hey, we don't know.
It's not scripted. I don't know.
Right. But let's just talk about errors and generations. Okay. So when you were coming up, who were the hottest people in your area? from like, cause I know I'm from Oakland, I'm from the Bay Area,
Oh,
right?
wow.
And so we had like our own vibe.
So you're the second person that I met from Oakland.
Really?
I think Frisco from on this.
Yeah, she from, yeah, that's my Bay Area
She was the first
sis.
person I ever met
From the Bay Area. Wow.
Outside of, being a fan of their music and knowing artists from there, but I never in person met a person from there. So you're the second person. That's cool.
Yeah. So when I grew up, like we were listening to like SIBO and E40 and
40.
Too Short.
That's what I grew up on, 40 and Shout.
What? You fuck with 40 and Short? Oh man, that's my brother for real.
Yeah, I got uncles that had cars, and this is all they listen to. E40, I grew up on him. Short is a legend, of course. At some point I couldn't even listen to him because he said the B word so much. You know what I'm saying? It was kind of like, but I had a real
your
mom.
grandma did
before grandma. They before grandma.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Mom Duke, they're my partner, so she real raw, uncut. Whatever going is going. So I had been around that environment for a while when they were in their prime in their career.
Okay.
I was a jit, so
yeah.
I definitely came on listening to them.
Okay. So that's what I was listening to at home. Like what were y'all listening to here in Atlanta? Like what was like who
back
was
in that time? Atlanta always been like pretty big in the music scene. So we had Outkast, we had Good and Mob, we had Field Mob, we had even artists that came out in the outskirts from, Ludacris to you name it. Like this is back in when Georgia itself was a music scene. It wasn't just Atlanta.
Yes.
But yeah, Dungeon Family.
Okay.
And I wasn't just listening to Atlanta artists. So
okay.
From UGK to 8 Ball, MJG to I was raised on all that.
Okay.
All of them was one southern thing. So,
So out of all of them, who would you say was like the most influential to you that even got you to even want to be in the music industry?
I wasn't even doing music back then. I don't even think I had an influence on music back then.
Really?
Yeah, because it was a lifestyle. So it was like, back then people listen to music due to circumstance. You know what I'm saying? Like the cookouts and, we had old uncles with the old schools and they used to ride around with the beat in the trunk and they listened to what they listening to. You just used to want to get in the car and ride because, it what it was. It was a thing. You know what I'm saying? But I didn't get into the music until later after that. So they always influenced me as far as feeling, knowing the feeling of music and knowing the culture itself. Like that's different from being an artist.
Right. Okay.
So I was always a fan of the culture for sure.
Okay. All right. So then let's fast forward to like what actually influenced you to take the step to say, you know what, this is going to be my path. Getting into this music industry, like, was it the Futures of the world? Was it the who was it? The Gucci Mane? Like,
it was separate occasions. Like I used to, even in middle school, I used to battle in the bathroom and the cafeteria, and I kind of wrote music at home. Just from writing poetry to trying to learn how to. Put metaphors together and write to beats and stuff like that.
Okay.
It came over time. Yeah, it just got better and better with time. I had family, a lot of family that, that did music. Big cousins, my mama rap.
Your mama rap? What? Come on, mama rap.
Exactly. So I had different influences as far as getting introduced to the artist side over time. Okay. I didn't just wake up and be like, man, this is what I want to do. It was always there. I just over time decided it wasn't until maybe like 2008, 2009. I was in college. I was at Morris Brown and.
Shout out to the AUC. I went to CAU.
Facts.
Okay.
This is when they were fighting to get their accreditation back.
Okay.
I had just graduated and stuff, so. Around this time, I was hanging with some guys, actually from Cali. It wasn't the Bay Area, but these guys were from Cali, and we called ourselves the Schoolhouse Hustlers. So we used to do like concerts at the college and shows in the dorms and stuff like that. And when I got with them, I was kind of like a little more serious about it. But it wasn't until 2010 when I really just was like, man, it was a different level. When I left Job Corps, it was definitely like a different level of being serious about it. I was in the studio I started, you know, dealing with other people around in the neighborhood that did it, and you know, like I said, over time it was just different situations that kind of created the want to be a, you know, an artist.
Okay. Now, I feel like back in the day, it was like you kind of looked at, you know, music as a way like, oh man, I got the hot song, like I'm gonna make all this money, I'm gonna be rich
Right.
just from having a hot song. Nowadays, you can't just only make money off just your music, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, what would you
I don't
say?
think it's back in the day. I really feel like before you learn the music industry, you don't know, right?
Okay.
So what we as a citizen or the listener,
Yeah.
we're taught that, you know, they made a song, they went to the studio, made a song, it was on the radio, and
They got
were just
millions
this
of
big old
dollars
star,
from,
right? Yeah.
from it.
But you know, when you don't know the business, it's like that's what you think. You think that
Mhm.
it's that easy, and all you had to do was make a great song,
Right.
and you were this household name after a while, and the world loved you, and people just gonna catch on, and you know, just have this amazing career. But like I said, it wasn't until I started meeting people that had the knowledge in the business on the business side, and it took for me to be in situations and fail in those situations, and you know, get to know the business side to learn that that's not what it was. It's not that easy, and it take more money and knowing more people, and you know, the business side kind of stood out more when I got serious about it.
Right.
So, you know, I think it's bigger than just you know, with the listener ear. Like you have the listener ear, and then you have, you know, I'm a songwriter and I'm an artist as well. So, you know, you got the songwriter ear where it's the music kind of become a part of you.
Okay.
You know, and then at that point you kind of change how you deal with the music,
Right.
which causes you to want to be more knowledgeable of how the business goes.
That part.
Taking care of the business and the paperwork and stuff like that. So it's a process. It just came with the experience over time and
For
learning
sure.
that.
So do you think that like it's important for artists to not only, you know, put time and energy into perfecting your craft, but like to knowing how to run a business? Like, cause it like you are a brand, like you are a business as an artist. And I feel like that might be like one thing that people like, just like you said, from just being on the consumer side, don't understand. Like you got to be a business owner too.
And I just think it comes with not knowing. You know, like the listener ear don't know. So when a lot of times when they just jumping in, or you know, they're new artists, up and coming, like myself, when I started, and I'm still in that learning phase, but when I started, you know, I didn't know anything about the business. So for me, I thought, you know, it was if I made a good song, you know, it'll hit radio eventually. You know, people start liking it.
Right.
And, you know, again, you don't know the business, so
Yeah.
I think it come with them just getting the experience of learning the business. At that point, it's going to become very important, and your number one priority to know the business is your music. Your music is product. When you learn business, you learn how to conduct business. You learn how to present your product. You learn how to package your product. You learn how to navigate in the business side. So it no longer become music anymore. You know what I mean? Like you become a brand, and you become a business. And it changes the whole narrative for doing music in the first place. Even if you're doing it like me, I do it because I love music, but it's still a business. Especially when you're talking financially, and you know, if you're not just doing it to just create music and just have it, you know, for your friends and family to listen to.
Right.
You know, but when you looking to, you know, be a household name and take it serious enough to where your brand gets bigger than the system, you have to step into a different role. And you know, if you ain't ready, it'll show. You know what I'm saying? It'll get you ready.
So like out of everybody that's, you know, in the game right now, in the ATL. We gonna keep
In
it
Atlanta.
small.
Okay.
In Atlanta.
In Atlanta.
Who do you feel like is getting it right when it comes to not just the artistry, but like the business side?
Right now.
Like it's like a good somebody that's like doing like you like that, like I mean it could even be yourself. If you feel like you have mastered it, like well, who do you feel like in the game right now is like giving us a good example of that whole the business side plus the artistry coming together and showing success?
And I'd be lying if I said I knew it all, because I definitely would be in a different situation. But if I just had to just take a step back and just look at my city and the influence and what we hold as a city, it's countless people in their respective place that do what they do.
Okay, we can narrow it down. Let's narrow it down to your top 5.
5?
3 to 5.
So we're talking artists, or we talking, business personnel?
Well, if you feel like, I'm gonna let you decide, because oftentimes like the artist is the face, but there's so much that goes into the production,
the music
right?
Scene
so so just the music
now.
scene in general.
Who I feel like is just handling the business.
Yeah, that's mastered like the whole bring the business with the artistry, and like is kind of showing us the model for how it should be done. Like I'm gonna use I know we're talking about Atlanta, but just to kind of give you an example what I'm thinking about, like let's look at Cardi B for example.
Okay.
So you would think that she's a big superstar, she done made enough money, she don't need to be doing all these shows. Like she hitting the pavement hard, okay?
Yeah.
She came hard with the music.
Yeah.
She coming hard with the marketing and the what I'm saying, like she got a concert coming, everything. She bought the pop. I don't know, she about 9 months pregnant. I don't know how many months pregnant.
And still working.
And still working. Like every time I can't scroll through my timeline without it be something about Cardi B and her new album. So that's an example. Like she like the business and the art has come together with whoever she got behind her is giving her the right advice on how to like push this music, and like it's a brand, it's a business. So is anybody in Atlanta doing it on that?
I'm gonna say, like, I feel like the more, cause I'm a fan of the legends. I'm a fan of the ones who paved the way. T.I., one of my favorite artists.
Okay.
Again, I came up in those generations where it was him, Jeezy, 2 Chainz, Luda, Gucci's, and Atlanta was that. It was those artists that influenced Atlanta culture. Along with the B-list celebrities that came under them. Right now, they will probably still be the artists that I look up to, simply because again, as an artist, I look at it now from a different standpoint. So for me, it's like, when you think about Atlanta culture now, it's like, so, like now it's Atlanta against the world. You know what I mean? It's like so much stuff done got tied into the industry that it took away from the listener ear, and now it's all media, and it's all now it's like everybody, even most of the artists, it's not about the music anymore. They influence more than just the music. Like the streets done got a hold to the music and influenced it in a certain way where it took away from some of the artists from Atlanta, because people just get brainwashed and drawn into what's in front, and it take away from artists like the ones who paved the way that transitioned, right? So I'd rather be, as an up-and-coming artist, one of the artists that transition. You go from being an up-and-coming artist to being a household name to being a mogul, and a legend in Atlanta. Like again, and I'm gonna just use T.I. as an example. He went from being a worldwide artist, you know, to film and television,
Yeah.
to business. The man got lots of real estate in the city. You know, he took his brand and he went to the next, as many levels as he can. That's
Yeah.
even with fighting adversity, being locked up so many times and having his whole life on television and having to deal with the,
Yeah.
you know, whatever came with that, his marriage,
Lawsuits, like all
everything.
kind of
So,
stuff was coming at him. The
but
devil
he's
was
still
busy.
today, you know, who he is,
Mm-hmm.
and you can't take that away from him. You know, he a real boss. You know, he still, you know, influential in the music scene. You know, he's done several movies, and I mean box office.
Yeah.
You know, he reached.
Shout out to T.I.
Yeah, like, so those are the kind of artists from Atlanta that I look up to. You know, to change. These people settled in their careers because they put the work in
Mm-hmm.
over time. You know, and they just proved that throughout circumstance that it can still happen. You know,
For
whatever
sure.
it is going on, like no matter what life threw at them, and no matter what circumstances they had to go through, you know, adversity, like they still remain. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
They kept their respect. So, you know, Atlanta right now is working its way towards getting back to having those influencers in position to, you know, regain the attention of artists and,
Mm-hmm.
and the listeners' ears. And, you know, a lot of up and coming artists are really just in competition. It's just they, you know, everybody trying to make it.
Right,
And,
for
you know,
sure.
not to use the crab in the bucket term, but everybody is, you know, everybody a rapper, everybody a influencer, everybody a scripper, everybody do everything, right?
Right.
So, you know, back then, people did what they did, and they were known for that.
Mm-hmm.
And there wasn't so many people that did it, you know.
Right.
It was respected that this is what they do. And, you know, people just understood and knew that it was a difference.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it was levels in between. Now it's like everybody's a superstar.
Everybody's
No matter what room you in, no matter what club you go to, no matter what, you know, what the scenario is, everybody important.
Everybody, right?
Everybody, you know. So,
and then they haven't even put in the work, nor have they had the successes or the failures to learn from to say that
they
I
jumped
made
up out
it.
of bed. Their parents had money, or you know,
That part.
whatever happened. You know, they put themselves in this position. You know, they bought their way up. You know, they paid for the back end, whatever. You know, like you said, everybody ain't work for it. Everybody didn't put the work in. Everybody didn't go through things, experiences in life, and trials and tribulations. Like, you know.
Well, what did Diiago go through?
Everything.
Everything.
Yeah.
Everything.
Yeah. I've been through a lot on both ends. You know.
Are you the type of person that you see like your failures as like lessons, like did you learn from everything, or are you still learning? Like, did you understand like why you went through? You today
learning that.
Okay.
But you know, when it was happening and when I was still in an immature state of mind, no, you don't think like that. You just, you know what I'm saying, you too busy questioning God, or you know what I mean, you too busy not caring. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
You just go through life not caring or thinking you got time. I got time to fix it. I got time to grow up. I got time to, you know, change, or you know, you don't care. You're like, man, it is what it is. You know, if it's meant, it's meant. Or you like, damn, God, like, you know, I done been through all this. Like, you trying to rush the process or rush the blessings, and you know, you tend to forget, or you just not knowing that you still in the process, and you still in the building stage. You still growing up. You still learning, and you know what I'm saying. You still falling out with people and like failing, like you said. You know, and some people never get it. But you know, for me, I'm now at a point where God brought me out of a lot of situations, and it took for me to be in other situations to realized that I was supposed to be learning in them situations, but I looked at it as trials and tribulations. I looked at it as shit I was just going through, and I didn't understand why. You know what I'm saying? Why these folk got money I don't? Why these folk got the cars and the houses, and you know what I'm saying? Like why I'm dealing with these type of adversities, and you know I'm such a good person. Like why?
Yeah.
I started questioning so much, and it was like it took away from me just simply, you know, just do what you supposed to do.
That's right.
And God gonna handle the rest, or you know it ain't your time. You know what I'm saying? Like it ain't time. When it's your time, it's gonna be your turn. Like I wasn't looking at it like that. Like
you was like,
hell no.
I was supposed to get like, where is my money?
I was down there a hater. Like,
thought you was a hater.
Life will make you a hater. Like it make you be like, damn, like how the hell these niggas doing all this and they got all this. You know what I'm saying? Like I work hard. Like you know, right now. You know what I'm saying? Like I had the opportunity to be a multi-business owner, but I don't got millions. You know what I'm saying? Like mine don't look like that. Like how it look on Instagram.
Oh,
it
don't look how it can't compare it to Instagram though.
But life will make you do that. Like when you just drawn into it so much, you'll be like, man, you start questioning everything. Your person, your circumstances, your past. You be like, damn, why did I even like, you know what I'm saying? Why did I even do that? Why did I even meet them people? Why are these even my friends? Why, you know what I'm saying? My family ain't what they supposed to be. Or you start kind of dissecting yourself for no reason. You know what I'm saying?
Or maybe that is for a reason. Maybe you need to.
Maybe it's for a reason.
Maybe you need to take a look in the mirror.
That. Yeah. You just going through the motions, and you know, which is what, you know, they call mental health and things like depression and you know, anxiety and all the stuff that people deal with on a daily basis. Like you don't know how to control those things, and most times you don't know how to control it, right? You just have to, you know, love yourself through it, or you have to learn how to invest in those emotions. You know what I'm saying? And want to grow.
See, you get into smart love territory now.
Come
on, we going.
But it's real. It's real. So you know, that's the normal life for me. But now I'm just at a point where I get it. Like I'm just learning how to navigate in those rooms, in those situations, and in those emotions, and you know, I'm working on me.
Look, I'm about to give you your kudos. I feel like, first of all, to even be able to articulate what you just articulated, like the fact that like you didn't know like why this and why that. You admitted to being a hater. I ain't never heard nobody say.
And I'm bad at communication, but I'm just learning that, you know, I had to identify.
Yeah, that's called self-mastery. So. Like when you're able to identify, just like not out, just forget about the outside world. Like you're able to go within, and you start to like reevaluate yourself and how you think and how, you know what I'm saying, and how you move, and you start to really like just master like that alone. Like you will start to prepare yourself to become the person you're supposed to be. So it's like when we looking at everybody else and we worried about what that person doing and how that person, whatever they did affected us, we don't have no control over that. But you can control you. You can control your emotions. You can control how you react to things. So even to take a step back and like to look within, that's the first step.
Which translated into the music. So that's I'm learning how to express myself through my gift, which is only gonna get better and better. So I learned my past experiences, how to, you know, try to reconnect with myself to be able to, you know, tell those stories or go back and be transparent in those moments, because everybody don't want everybody to know everything, right? You ain't finna tell everybody how you slept on the floors and slept with the roaches and ate syrup sandwiches, and you know how you shared clothes with your cousins and took cold showers because your lights was off, and Niggas ain't finna tell nobody that. They want to glorify the good.
Yeah, you're
You know
right.
what I'm saying? You ain't finna tell nobody how you really was struggling and really going through it and how life took you, you know, in them circumstances that you want to hide and mask. So for me, I learned how to be comfortable in my own story, to be like, man, I went through that.
Comfortable in your own story.
Yeah, like you know, it ain't saturated. Like a lot of those stuff I talked about in my music, or still to this day, it was real life circumstances, and it was my real truth. You know, what I mean? And I had to learn how to not be ashamed of what I've been through, and how to be a pillar for, you know, the people that don't want to talk about it, or ashamed to talk about it, or don't know how to express themselves in that manner. I'm learning how to use the platform. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so
for sure.
That's kind of where I'm at right now, just in transition of being transparent.
I think that's very important, especially like for Black men. I feel like you all like have like the weight of the world on your shoulders,
Not
right?
all of them.
Huh?
Not all of them.
No, I mean you do just in general. Not all of you are know how to handle it or do anything good with it. But I'm just saying, like, you have the weight of the world on your shoulders. Like, you got so many different, just negative, like, things like that's just can pile on you at once. Right. And so, mental health in the Black community has never, especially for Black men, has never been something we talked about.
Right.
Like, were like empathetic towards, or like even knew how to deal with. And so that's why you see like so many like suicides and people just like losing it, like, you know what I'm saying. And
but now what's happening
coming out in anger,
not to cut you off, but now it's like social media making it a fashion. You know what I'm saying? So now it's like, oh, we should bring more awareness to men and mental health.
Okay.
But like you said before, nobody cared about it. Like nobody cared about what a nigga went through in the day, or how he survived through the day, or what negative connotations he had to deal with, you know, so forth and so on. But now it's like a fashion to bring awareness. So, you know, and not to say that some people are not genuine, but you know, it's just for the most part, some of it is really just, you know, the world talking about it. So let me care. You know what I'm saying?
Really?
Like the everybody got podcasts, so let me talk about it. Because it's being talked about elsewhere. So like, let me follow the trend. Let me follow the fashion and be a part of what's going on. That's kind of like how the world operates now. Like if they not seeing it on social media, or the world not doing it, they not doing it.
So are you saying that to say that like you don't feel like the world really does care about?
I'm not saying
how Black
like I
men
said,
are
some people are genuine in that subject, but the subject too sensitive to have an opinion about who care and who don't. You get what I'm saying? So it's like you kind of have to just go off your own pickings. Me personally, I've never ran across so many people, or too many people, that actually genuinely cared about mental health and what I had going on. And that's down to family. Like, it get draining, you know, when you the person everybody call for something. You know what I'm saying? Don't nobody call you and say, bro, what you need? You good? How you feeling? You know, I done cried many nights, you know, to myself. You know, I done been in a situation where I had to fight my depression and fight demons, as what people call it. Or, I had to deal with myself and hold myself accountable for emotions that I had that I didn't even know how to control. Triggers that I had to learn how to cope with, you know what I'm saying? And that's even in my relationship. So it's like, it took for me to meet, you know, women to understand certain things that my mom didn't teach me. You know what I'm saying? Or I didn't have a dad. So it's like, you know, when you don't have that male figure to be like, hey, Pa, I'm going through this. Or, you know, I had uncles, but it wasn't like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, even to this day, I don't got big homies, and I ain't got, you know, God brought people around me in my life, like I said, in my journey, that, you know, if I wanted to call them and just have a conversation, I can. But we talking about like generationally, like
Okay.
when we grew up, the house was, you had uncles, you had aunties,
Right.
everybody played a part in your
Right.
house. Even if they ain't live with you, you can go to your auntie's house and stay for a week, and their environment was totally different from home. They raised you totally different from what you were getting at home.
Yeah.
You had friends, and you can go spend the night over their house, and their mom was like your mom. You know, there wasn't no difference. It was a village.
Yeah, it definitely.
It's not the same. So it's like, you know, over time, it's like now is let's go to social media. Like, let's talk about it now, because everybody want to talk about it. So I can talk about it now, right, openly, because I want you to feel like I care. You know what I mean? I want you to feel like I'm big bro and I'm up, and you know, it ain't to go viral, but maybe if I do, then it'll help my situation. But at least I can say, or at least I give you the option to never say I ain't never cared.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna tell you, and I hear you, and I agree actually. But I'm gonna tell you, smart love is different. And so for me, the reason why I even started this platform, like it was really for a way for me to kind of like share my experience, and like I just felt like, and I still feel like everything that we go through, there's some type of lesson we're supposed to learn. And the more transparent you are about those experiences, like if we just not faking it just for, you know what I'm saying, to try to put on a persona just for the clicks and the likes and make it look like we live in a certain lifestyle. If like we're being truly authentic and we're being transparent about our experiences and taking accountability for what we did wrong, what we needed to learn, what, you know, all of that. If we share that with each other, like I feel like we can all learn from our experiences. Like, and so that's why it's like, it's called smart love, because it's like, it's about using information, knowledge, and our experiences to make better decisions when it comes to not just love, like, relationships, but business, success, like all these things. I feel like we can learn from each other. And so I had did a series called The War on Black Love. And like we were getting into like what is keeping the black man and the black woman apart. And because it's like if you just
what's keeping them apart?
Yeah, like if you just look at what's online, like it's like we could not be the furthest away from each other. Like we just battling. The black men don't love the black woman, and the black woman don't love the black man. And I don't believe that is true. So if I was to ask you, like, what do you think is like the underlying issues that's keeping the black family apart?
I don't know.
Okay.
In all honesty, I don't know. I mean, again, you know, when I grew up, we were taught so many different things, and I didn't grow up with a household intact. You know.
Okay.
Like I said, my grandmother raised me. So to
like
my
that,
knowledge,
you didn't
I
have
only
your father around.
Yeah,
so
like
that's...
I only have stories. I only have what I was told. I wasn't, you know, I wasn't there to know the truth. And even if even if he weren't deceased and he was alive, and who am I to say that they'll still be together? You know what I'm saying? When you talking about mothers and fathers being in the household, but in general, there's so many. It's so much that could happen that would cause like households to disrupt or people to go their separate ways, and that ain't even just, you know, love and relationship. Like some people just not meant for each other.
Yeah.
Like some people grow apart. Like it's just so many different things that could play a part in why it would be like that.
Yeah, no,
So
it is.
I just personally don't have an opinion of what I think is the driving force. You know, the most common one, right, is what they teach us in social studies about how the men was already pulled out even back in slavery.
Yeah.
So, you know, if I chose to just go off of that belief alone and say, hey, well, you know, we can go back to them times where we were pulled out of the household, and it'll have nothing to do with how my mom and dad got in, how they dealt with each other. You know what I'm saying? Or anybody for that matter. So
yeah, because it's there was definitely, we talked a lot about like the history and you know how that happened, but like just looking at like how we deal with each other today, I feel like there's definitely like a lot of trauma on both sides. You know, women have trauma that they haven't dealt with.
It's
and
crazy
men have
because
trauma.
so I was just talking to some friends, and I'm just now getting to the point in life where I'm learning that, because I do agree with households working, like just, you know, two people being one. That's what it's saying about two people should be one separately before they're one together, right? So once they become one, you know, raising kids, all one, you know, unit. But I got some friends that they just had a 25-year anniversary.
Oh wow! Okay.
So I was kind of like asking, because I'm at a point now in life where I'm learning about how to communicate and be transparent, and learning how to identify those triggers and manage them, and you know, so forth and so on. So on that subject, you know, when you talking about households and the importance of being vulnerable in those moments, or hope, you know, accountability, so forth and so on. To me, it used to be to each his own, right? Because I used to be like, man, I don't care. Like, I don't. If it don't work out, it don't work out. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I don't really care to be
dissect
with this
it
person.
or figure out
if you leave, like you chose to leave, like obviously it ain't me. But now I'm learning. They were teaching me because I asked like what kept them so long, and it really was just the only answer in that is loving that person enough to want to be submissive to life and be like, you know what, this is my person. It don't matter what happened, like I'm not going nowhere.
I'm not going nowhere.
You know what I'm saying? Like we're gonna making it work. Not like even so. My brother was like, you have to eliminate the divorce word.
Okay.
And put a word in there that, you know, strengthens the relationship. So their word was work. You know, they talked about making it work, and you know, even my partner, she brought to my attention. She's like, we have to learn how to attack the problem and not each other. You know what I'm saying? Like fights can get so bad, conversations can get so bad. You know what I'm saying? Like people just have different opinions about how they express themselves, and that could go every which way, right?
Right.
But if we're not attacking each other and we say, okay, well, let's identify what even happened to cause us to even have a conversation about this. What are we talking about? So now that we're dealing with what we're talking about, once we eliminate that, it ain't nothing to argue about. Ain't no conflict. You know what I'm saying? There's no reason to be at war. You know what I mean? Because we both have an understanding that this is as a unit, we're gonna figure this out.
I love that. I love that.
It gotta make sense.
And see, and you had mentioned this earlier, like you said something about, you know, like women like coming into your life to like kind of like maybe show you some things or teach you some things that you didn't learn like growing up, or didn't even have examples of like those, you know, healthy interactions between like men and women. And
not to be your business, but like, have you ever like been in a relationship and you were like, man, that man taught me something, even if it was bad?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Even if he taught you, like, man, I can't go for that.
Yeah. And
like
so
the next guy, I ain't going for that.
For
you know
sure, for sure.
It was a man who taught you like self-love, or he just poured into you in certain areas, and you were like, damn, like I didn't even know I could do that or be that for me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I look at, so like I'm divorced. I was married for like 8 years. And so for me, like I don't have anything bad to say about my ex-husband. We're great co-parents. We have two wonderful, beautiful children from that, relationship. But like what I needed to learn about me had nothing to do with him. So it was like all the stuff that I was like, everything that happened in the marriage, from like just, adultery to just
So when did you
not
figure that out though?
years after I was divorced. Years after I was divorced.
So what I'm learning is, how would he have understood that?
Exactly.
Had it been a time where y'all were together and you
Right.
were like, man, this is where I'm at in life.
Mm-hmm.
You got to really sit down with your person and be like, man, I ain't there.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like this, I got to be honest with me and say, this is where I'm at.
Yeah.
Whether I got to sacrifice losing you or not.
But you have to have a safe space.
Right.
You have to feel like you're in a relationship where you can be vulnerable, and that is a safe space on the men and the women. Right. That where you can, communicate like, okay, this is where I'm at. These are my faults. These are things I need to work on, and you can accept when they're telling you, because like. Definitely, I feel like marriage is like meant to put a mirror up to you, and like some of the things that I didn't like that I saw in him were probably things I needed to work on within myself as well. But in it, it was like it was me against him.
Had that happened while y'all were together, do you feel like he would have been patient enough to understand that these are things that I'm recognizing within myself, even if it came through your actions, that I might need to reflect on, do a self-reflection on, and he would have been like patient enough to be like, well, okay, I'm gonna give you time and I'm gonna love you through it, and in the end, if that's a pure thing, then however it's meant to work out for us, it's gonna work.
Yeah, so no, not maybe now because we're older, but we were 25.
Right.
I mean, we met in college.
So y'all married young? Oh, y'all married at 25?
Yeah, we met. We were like 20. Yeah, we were like 20 years old in college.
They still trying to guess how old we
were. Y'all can keep guessing. But yeah, smart. So we were.
Keeping that timeline.
Yeah, so we were, we were young. We had our children young and everything, and so at that age, absolutely, like he did not have like the capacity nor the patience, nor did I. I was trying to be like that ride or die chick. Like I didn't even really, I wouldn't say I had like a lot of examples of like, what a wife should be and like a healthy relationship, but I was trying to create it. I felt like I could. Like once we get married, it's gonna happen.
What you feel like made you wrong though? Because obviously at some point you had to feel like I failed in those decisions.
Yeah. Or
whatever the case may be, for it to not work out, or even with that person, you're like, man, I prejudged that situation wrong, or whatever. Like, what conversation you had with yourself where you were just like I screwed it up.
I think
I gotta fix this. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and
even within myself, like I gotta.
Yeah, and so the biggest thing for me, and like this is something that the minister said when we got married. He's like, you have to make sure that in your marriage, like you keep God at the center. I don't know what he meant by that. I just thought that was something that was part of what you say when you marry people.
Oh, you just being a pastor.
Like, you just being a pastor today. All right. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. I had no idea how important that was.
Yeah.
Until I found myself, because, like, I grew up in the church and, all this. Like, I'm, very spiritual. Not religious, but very spiritual. My ex, he was the Nation of Islam. Oh, wow. Like we had two different upbringings when it came to religion, but like we both believed in God, and like I felt like I had a good relationship with God going into it. But when I felt that like I was like so far away from the path that God had chosen for me, or like the person that I was like the person I became in that marriage was not the godly woman you see here today. I started to get into some tit for tat type stuff.
That's only because
I was like, man, I tried to cheat and got caught. I was like, you know what, this is not.
Because you become what people make you. And I learned that over time. Like, people aren't what you call them unless you make it that. Right? Like, people be like, oh, it's always good in the beginning and so forth. But like, even when I was younger, I had to realize, like, women ain't insecure. They what you make them. I'm still learning this now.
Yes.
I'm just saying, like, in general, like, you know, people ain't crazy until you make them crazy. Like, don't feed a dog and watch what they do when they get home. You know what I'm saying? Like, they gonna eventually want to eat whatever going on. And that's kind of like it is with people. Like, tell people yes enough and then tell them no. See what happens. You know, like, treat people good and then change. Change how you treat them and then watch what happens.
Watch what happens.
You know, it's just one of them things. So I learned, I built a different respect for women, understanding that it was due to the nature of my decisions that, you know, cause and effect, reaction and that reaction had a reaction. And that's a real thing.
That is.
Like, if I ain't moving a certain type of way, there's no way you can feel no kind of way.
Okay.
If I ain't talking to you no kind of way.
With like accountability. Okay, yeah, okay.
So these are things now I'm learning how to, you know what I'm saying, be transparent within myself. Okay, well, maybe if I don't put this out there, if I don't give this stuff this kind of energy, you know, my person can't. Right. Because if that ain't what our foundation building itself on, then, you know what I'm saying, it's not even humanly possible unless that's who you are. It ain't possible for you to act that way or react that way or respond in certain manners, or, you know, you're going to treat the situation accordingly. When women are loved correctly, they love correctly. Come on. Or people in general.
Agree,
you know what
I
I'm saying?
agree.
So it's like I'm learning how to understand and recognize my own faults and my own accountabilities in that, so that now when I move, it's like, okay, well, I know now if I move right, my girl gonna move right.
Okay. So what would you say is like the biggest lesson that you learned from your last relationship?
I'm sorry.
Well, why are you laughing about the last relationship? Now I want the story about the last relationship.
Like Michael, I be in the head like micro. Water diamonds on me, that's a light show. Party going broke, that's a typo. I be doing numbers, that's a fight stone. None of my niggas ain't like yo. Follow all them niggas don't like yo. I spin a nigga block, go psycho. Step.
Welcome, my smart lovers and friends. I'm so excited to have you here. Welcome to this community just for you, focused on inspiring true love and authentic, healthy relationships, okay? All the ships, friendships, romantic relationships, partnerships, all of the above. So I'm super excited to have you here related to dating, relationships, marriage, growth, self-care, self-reflection, self-mastery. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being a part of the community. Make sure you share with a friend or two or three. Let's continue to grow together.